Hi, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I am going to demystify the concept of your awareness being God and the difference between awareness and your mind. Why this is a critical distinction and how it will transform your entire manifestation experience when you take on the perception of the God consciousness in comparison to thinking of yourself from the mind consciousness, the limited perspective. So before we begin, please hit the like button if you like broken down, systematic, methodical approaches to manifesting in a way that is predictable and systematic, that I have observed through thousands of experiments and taken the common denominators from these experiments from not only myself, but thousands and thousands of individuals, then this is the channel for you. Hit the bell icon if you want to stay notified for every Tuesday and Friday and many days in between with shorts. I release new content to teach you exactly how to manifest your dreams in a way that's predictable. No airy-fairy, no hope manifesting, no try or pray and spray. Just do this action, receive this results. So let us start with a brief introduction of manifestation, awareness, and the difference between your awareness and the mind. So you may have heard through Neville Goddard the idea that you are God. You are the God of Scripture. This is true. I have experienced this from my own perception, having received mystical experiences to verify this. But not only that, but implementing what is referred to as the attributes of God in Scripture to my own experience have proven, and then also given you guys in my videos the strategic methods to doing this as well. But you can prove that you are actually the God of Scripture. This is not a joke. This is not something to say to feel cool or strong. This is not to be said to make you feel better than others. In fact, every other person is also God, but it is true and it is amazing. And with that said, there is often a confusing idea. The confusing idea is as such: the confusion between the idea that it's the person who is God, meaning my thoughts, my ego, my beliefs, my concept of self, my concept of the world, and all of that is God. But that is actually not what is God. If you take the source and origin of the teachings that Neville was intending to mean, but not only just what he says, but actually implement it and apply it, you will be able to decipher the difference. And actually, the power comes from when you realize it is your consciousness of being that is God and not the limited perception of yourself. So the concept and idea is that your consciousness, your I amness, is God. That is the creative power. That is the creative force. There is no power other than our consciousness. So it is not the mind. There is a difference, and this is the experiment that I want to give you right now to show you the absolute difference of the mind and awareness, and to let you identify the attributes that you can figure this out yourself. So if you want to follow along, I would highly recommend you do this. If you want to close your eyes, close your eyes. Otherwise, just follow along. I want you to now, if you're closing your eyes, observe the thoughts that are entering into your mind. Take a second to do that. If you need to pause it, do that, and then hit unpause. Once you observe the thoughts, now observe the space between your thoughts. One thought will appear, another thought will appear, sometimes in rapid succession, sometimes not. Think now, look at the thought, and ask yourself the question: who is or what is it that is aware of your thought? Who is observing your thought? Who is observing the idea? Answer the question honestly. Who is observing your thought? I am, is what you should be saying. That means there is a distinction. The fact that you can observe the thought or the space between the thought means that there is a thought and an observer of it. That observer is your consciousness. Now take for a second, again, examining the experience of being aware of a thought. Think now of going into outer space within your imagination. Bring the imagination into your awareness. And now allow your mind to travel through that medium of space as far as it can possibly go. Keep going further and further and further. Now, bring forth an image of your greatest desire. I'm sure you know what that is. I'm sure there's a reason right now, something you want at this moment. Bring that into your mind's eye, into the imagination. Now, I want you to step all the way to the end, the limit of your imagination. Is there a place that you cannot go? Is there a place where one consciousness ends and another begins? No. If you have your eyes closed, you can open your eyes. I want to explain to you what has just happened. So, the thoughts arise and then they fall. There's always a continuous, everlasting space, a medium within which the thought arises. That medium is called awareness, consciousness, your I am. I asked you to go into imagination to the place furthest as you could possibly go, and there is no limitation. There is no end. It is infinite. It is infinite. Also, that space between thoughts is always there. Think now, open your eyes again if they're not, and look around. You are aware of seeing, likely, the screen in front of you that hits your perception, entering into your awareness. Meaning, the only thing that you can actually know is awareness. Everything, although it may appear to be without, it is actually being experienced within you. All of what I've gone over here are actually attributes of the God of Scripture. God is infinite. There is no end. God is ever present. He is always there. God is all-knowing. Everything you are experiencing is being perceived and then known. All-knowing. There's no beginning nor end. Although it may appear as if, whilst you are asleep, it ends, or perhaps before you became alert in this world. However, there is no beginning and no end. These are all the attributes of God. Then I asked you to think of the desire that you had, all creative, all powerful. And I asked you to go to the limit of the imagination, of the consciousness, so that you could step where one consciousness ends and the other begins. There is no end. There is only one God. The reason I'm doing this is to explain to you that you are the one God. God rests himself and illuminates the mind of man. That is in Scripture called the Christ, the mind of man, the power and wisdom of God. What you have just experienced every time you imagine something, every time you use your inner voice, every time you manifest, is the power and wisdom of God. You are the power and wisdom of God. You are infinite, eternal, omnipresent, everywhere you go, all-knowing, all-powerful. If you think back to the manifestations that unfold, when you imagine something, you are aware of it, and your awareness itself is the creative force. It isn't the mind itself. It is the awareness that is aware of the thought, the awareness, the medium through which your thoughts appear, or through which you observe the imagination, or through which you create the judgment, or experience the experience, or have the memory. That medium itself is awareness. That is God. Now, you may ask, how do I get awareness from God? In Scripture, in Exodus 3:14, God says his name is I am. I am means awareness of being awareness. And then you may ask, okay, so we have awareness, but how do we know that that's talking about us? Well, besides the experiments that I just gave you, you could actually utilize the instructions that God gives or that Christ gives and do them yourself. When you pray, imagine this. When you desire this, speak like this. Be still and know, K-N-O-W, that I am God. It is telling you when you are still and you are in full knowing that you are God. All in all, you yourself are the God of Scripture. Now, I said others are as well because there is only one God, but there are different individual minds. And if you're looking for how manifestation works, this is it. All things in existence are connected to and inside the one awareness, meaning the awareness that is illuminating your consciousness of life is the same awareness that is illuminating your boss's awareness of life, your specific person, your mother and father and brother and sister and entire family and friends. All of these, your pets, all of these exist that therefore by being illuminated by consciousness, by God. And in Exodus 3:14, as he says that his name is I am, he says, I am that I am, meaning I am that awareness throughout all generations. Every single person who has ever said the phrase I am is God. That is what it says. It's a cipher, but it's in clear, plain English. And so the majority of Scripture is in a cipher, but that is the key that is exposed to everyone. And when you take that and then you substitute every time the name God or Jesus or Lord or Jehovah, you substitute that with I am, and then you do the instructions or you claim the powers that God claims to have, and you exercise and try it yourself, you will experience the world shift in the exact manner that God claims he is shifting the world, and that is the Christ. The Christ is the human experience of God in Scripture. You were with him before the foundations of the earth, it says, meaning you literally are God, and you came down here aware of your consciousness, and you will be here for experience, and then you will be back with God. Nothing leaves, nothing comes back. Think of a thought. When you have a thought, so the identification and separation between the mind and awareness can be done as follows, right? There is only one God. And the fact that you yourself, when you have a thought, if you were your thought, that means when a thought appeared within your awareness, you would be gaining more of yourself. And when a thought left, you would lose a part of yourself. But have you noticed you've always been consistent? You've always felt like yourself. No matter what, behind the scenes, if you recede back and allow the thoughts to settle, you will always be the same self. That is the eternal God. So how do you apply and use this in your life? The art of manifesting comes down to being able to represent to God the exact desire you wish to experience, as if it's already done. God will replicate that which you have presented to him, to yourself. By nature, by design. Think of your thoughts. They just appear, right? Creative by nature. Your consciousness is creative by nature. All you need to do is get a nice, solid, clear representation of the desire that you have and hold it in front of your consciousness. And consciousness, being light, meaning God is light, refracts. It pushes through. Its energy emits and emanates through that desire, through that image that you've placed in front of it, causing it to develop. And outside of time space, you have selected a dimension at that moment. And the rest of time and space, which is still owned by and exists within God, within your awareness, nothing exists outside of God, outside of awareness, will be commandeered, will be moved, will be given thoughts, feelings, desires, experiences, actions, and everyone and everything that is capable of being aware will be commandeered and caused to move in order to emulate and exactly represent the thing that you've held in front of your consciousness. In other words, your only mission is to imagine something clear and concise that is able to be held up in front of your conscious awareness. You, your infinite self, not the mind. The mind needs not to do anything after that. Your conscious awareness, which exists preceding and will exist far after your mind, is where all things exist within, and God, your consciousness, awareness, I am, yourself, whatever you want to call it, will create a master plan that is all-knowing. Remember, it creates a master plan. It's all-powerful. It commandeers everyone, moves everyone, and forces everyone to take action so that you, the imaginer, you, the God, can experience your manifestation, which is also God, inside of your awareness, which is also God. So God imagines, God creates and pushes out inside of God, and then God comes back to God, presents himself in front of God. There's another amazing, I guess you could say, metaphor, which is God abandoned himself to become man so that he could see the inside of his own self. And that is what is happening here. The mind itself will change. Your concept of self will change. Your body will change. Your true self never does. So whatever you want to experience, represent it in front of awareness and then step back. If you get one single imaginal act that represents your desire in front of consciousness to the exact degree as you want, that's all you have to do. What's going on behind the scenes is your conscious mind, which is being illuminated by awareness in and of itself, will yield and relax. If you hold a nice enough image that's comforting and that causes you to yield, so to speak, there's no effort or resistance. And yielding, the image that you're desiring is held up and represented in its exact form. And that's all that needs to be done. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. If it was, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.